On behalf of Fitness Australia, I'm Chantal Brodrick, and it's an absolute pleasure to welcome my guest this afternoon, Cheye Hill, the manager of Goldfield's Oasis. Cheye, welcome and thank you for chatting to me today.
Absolute pleasure, Chantal. Thank you for having me.
Well, congratulations to Goldfield Oasis on achieving Fitness Australia Quality Accreditation. Do you want to start off by telling us a little bit about Goldfield's Oasis?
Yeah, sure. The Goldfields Oasis is an owned, City of Kalgoorlie-Boulder owned and operated large aquatic centre that resides in the City of Kalgoorlie-Boulder, which for many people across the eastern states would have no idea where that is. Essentially, we're 600 kilometres away from Perth inland, and we form part of a big gold mining hub, and we actually have the largest open pit gold mine in Australia, and the town itself has fluctuates between 30 and 40,000 people. So the facility services the entire community, and we've got a 50-metre indoor pool, a large leisure pool, a surfing machine, water slides, small pool area, a splash pad, courts, creche, the whole box and dice, and obviously our health and fitness facility as well. So it's a fully developed hub designed of getting our community more active more often.
It sounds absolutely huge, Cheye, and I'm envisaging right now that surf pool in the middle of Kalgoorlie.
Yeah, it's a very interesting place, and when Bill Moore came over last year, he was blown away by the facility and just the town in general, because it's a really interesting place. And we just recently had Tim Minchin here filming a movie, and so when you think about a quintessential outback town, Kalgoorlie is it. There's historic buildings along the main street, and the soil is red, and so I always tell people, because I'm from over east, I'm from Sydney, and you've been here for 5 or 6 years now, and it's a unique experience, and one that I'd fully encourage anyone to. If you want to see a quintessential outback town, come and visit the City of Kalgoorlie-Boulder. It's a wonderful place.
That is good advertising, Cheye. Well, look, I wanted to speak to you today specifically, obviously, about the Fitness Australia Quality Accreditation program, because what would you say it was that motivated you originally to take part in the program?
Yeah, look, one of the challenges being here in Kalgoorlie-Boulder is our isolation. It's quite difficult to connect with peers in the industry and have your facility reviewed, and so we saw the opportunity the accreditation process as an opportunity for us to actually be assessed by a third party, and take a 360-degree look at what we do and why we do it. And we don't really get that opportunity all that often. It's much easier in a big city to call a contemporary and say, hey, can you do some mystery shopping for us, or can you do some calls and test our sales processes? But we don't quite have that opportunity. So when it came around, when we got the call from Fitness Australia to say, do you want to take part, we jumped at the chance, and we got a hell of a lot of benefit out of it. So it was fantastic.
That's excellent. Now, your facility's actually won the Active Community Award in 2017 for delivering the Pledge to Park Run program. And now, of course, you've also received that quality accreditation. So what does it mean to you, and also to the team, to receive industry awards and to receive that Fitness Australia Quality Accreditation?
Yeah, for us, it's super important to represent regional Australia. That is probably the one thing. As someone who lived and worked in the industry in Sydney, I always felt that the industry, and I'm not being overly critical, is somewhat insular and very metro-centric. And so we saw it as an opportunity to be able to highlight some of the great stuff that's going on in the regional communities. And you know yourself that the stats coming out of regional communities, there's high degree of illness, high degree of obesity, less activity, more stress, more mental illness. And so facilities like this play such a huge role in the well-being of regional communities. And so we wanted to highlight some of that stuff to say that, hey, that there is some really good stuff going on in terms of service delivery within the fitness and wellness space within the region. So, and more so how receptive Fitness Australia was to some of the stuff that we're doing. We're actually taken aback by how positive and it's given us given us the chance to kind of, I don't know, think outside the box a little bit as well. So yeah, we were blown away by the response. So yeah.
Talk to me about that a little bit more, Cheye. When you say think outside the box, I mean, what difference do you think the accreditation will actually make to your business?
Yeah, good question. I think it was really important for us to, I guess, have a bit of a roadmap. Is we just didn't want to see, use it as the acid test to see how good we are or going. But we wanted to have some key takeaways in terms of some of the internal stuff moving forward for us to be able to work to improve. And we got some of that. And what I enjoyed most about it was they weren't, the Improvement Foundation aren't industry people. So having a non-industry person actually take a look at all of your systems, procedures, processes, financial management, and have them really, kind of torn apart and put back together, gave us some things that we can take away and improve. And it also helped refresh our perspective on some of the things that we think our consumers might want. Maybe we're in the game too much, we're in the trenches too much, and we forget a little bit about what that thought process is with the consumer. So there's some of the key things that we're kind of taking away. We also had some really great feedback from the Improvement Foundation as well, which was really good. They noted out we have an excellent workforce culture, great systems, and it helped us kind of reiterate to us that some of the stuff that we're doing is heading in the right direction. We're kind of going where we need to go.
I love that you brought up the fact that the Improvement Foundation are outside the industry, because I think that we all do look inside quite often for feedback and to have a look at what other people are doing. But I think it's a really important point that you made about that you're actually getting that observation from outside of our industry. And one of the things that you just said then, Cheye, was you mentioned your workforce and your staff. So how did your staff take to doing the program and working through it? And what do you think they've specifically gotten out of it?
I reckon we probably got more out of the process than we did the end result. So the feedback that we got from the Improvement Foundation was great, but actually doing it was incredibly detailed and onerous, and it just made us look at every single little thing we're doing, especially because we're regional. We had to prepare all the stuff for an online review. So we didn't have somebody fly out to Kalgoorlie and come to the centre and sit down with us. So we had to go through a list of stuff that was so detailed. And it was just going, just little things like even some of the forms that we've got. Okay, well, as soon as we reviewed it, we're like, that's not going to stack up. We need to change that. We need to, fix that. We need to change the language. And so I think all of our staff that were involved kind of realised, wow, this, to go through the accreditation process and to be viewed as a high level service deliverer, you really need to be doing a lot of stuff. So I think that's probably the main thing that they took away was just the amount of detail that we needed to become accredited, and picking up those things that we probably noticed during the process that we can take away and improve upon.
Yeah, it sounds like a great experience to work through with your team. And as you say, for them to get an appreciation of just how much goes into running a business and getting things to the very best that they can possibly be. Now, Cheye, you've mentioned a few times throughout our conversation today about the importance of your community and obviously being in a regional area. So when it came to actually doing the Fitness Australia Quality Accreditation program, what difference do you think that will make within your community and within the members of your community?
It's a really good question. And I really think that first and foremost, it gives our community a view that there's a stamp of quality about what they're receiving. That's probably the most important thing, that when they're walking into our facility, that they know our staff are of a certain standard, that we have a well-drilled business model that puts the customers first, and everything that we do is customer centric, that we care about our staff, and we're genuinely invested in our community. And being a public recreation facility that's owned by the council, we need to make sure that we're giving an excellent return on investment to the ratepayer. And so that's probably the most important thing is that when a council rate payer, checks what they're paying in their rates, that they feel like what's being invested in this facility is worthwhile. And I think the Fitness Australia accreditation just adds another string to the bow of things that our rate payers will go, yeah, that's, it's an investment that's worthwhile. So yeah, I think that's the key things.
Well, based on everything that we've discussed today, it sounds to me as though this has been a really fantastic initiative for you to take part in. It sounds like you've got a lot out of it, not only for the business internally and for your staff, but also for the local community. So, Cheye, for anyone that is listening to our interview today that's tuned in, what would you say to them if they're considering taking part in the Fitness Australia Quality Accreditation program? What advice would you give to them?
First and foremost would be to do it. That's the first and foremost one. If you're interested in not being defensive and improving your business, it's something that you really need to do. For the investment, it's a no-brainer. But you need to be prepared to be picked apart. You have to go into this with an open mind and realise that people that aren't in the industry are going to really take a look at your operation and give you a roadmap to improve. And if you want to improve your business, which I think we all are, then take part in it. It's really that simple. And then with those takeaways, go and do something with them. Go and do something with them and drive your business forward. So it's a great opportunity, and one that we really haven't had, I believe, as an industry to do. So otherwise, typically you've got to pay a consultant a lot of money, a hell of a lot of money to come along board and do it. And this is a much more cost-effective way of getting those things. So yeah, just do it.
Well, Cheye, I want to thank you so much for chatting to me today. It's been fascinating hearing about all the process that you went through, the benefits that it had to your business and to your team and to your community. So thank you so much for joining me today.
My absolute pleasure, Chantal. Thank you very much, and have a fantastic 2019.
And you.